The legend of Lake Bunyonyi, the tears of Nyinamwuri. Once upon a time, in the lush hills of southwestern Uganda, there was a small village nestled near a serene, grassy valley. The people lived simple lives, relying on their cattle, crops, and the gentle rhythm of the seasons. The land was beautiful, but nothing matched the beauty of Nyinamwuri, a young woman whose radiance captivated all who laid eyes on her. Her skin glowed like the sunlit earth, and her eyes sparkled with the warmth of 1,000 stars. Many suitors came from far and wide, hoping to win her heart, but she always remained distant, lost in her own world. Nyinamwuri's beauty became a subject of envy among the women in the village, and their whispers soon reached the ears of the local king. He, too, had heard of her beauty and sent his men to bring Nyinamwuri to his palace, intending to make her his queen. But Nyinamwuri's heart belonged to a young farmer named Kwezi, who had been her childhood friend. They had shared many dreams together under the shade of the giant fig trees, planning a life filled with love and simple joys. When the king's men arrived at her home, they informed her father that the king wished to marry Nyinamwuri. Her father, tempted by the honor and wealth this union would bring, readily agreed. Nyinamwuri, however, was devastated. She pleaded with her father, telling him about her love for Kwezi, but he dismissed her words, seeing the king's offer as a blessing for the family. On the eve of her departure to the palace, Nyinamwuri and Kwezi met one last time near their favorite fig tree. Under the moon's gentle glow, they vowed to find a way to be together again. Kwezi promised he would find a way to rescue her, and they parted with heavy hearts, each tear they shed soaking into the earth below. The king, enchanted by Nyinamwuri's beauty, showered her with gifts and praise, but she remained cold and distant, her heart yearning for the life she had left behind. As the months passed, the king grew angry at her unwillingness to accept his love. He decided that if he could not have her heart, he would banish her far away, ensuring no other man could claim her. He exiled her to a small island in the middle of a deep valley, where no one could reach her without his permission. The island was a lonely place, surrounded by dense forest and thick mist. Nyinamwuri spent her days wandering the small patch of land, dreaming of the days when she and Kwezi were free to laugh and dream together. At night, she would look up at the stars, hoping that Kwezi might find her. One fateful evening, Kwezi did come, rowing a small wooden canoe across the waters to the island. Nyinamwuri rushed to meet him, tears of joy streaming down her face. They embraced and planned their escape, dreaming of a life far from the king's reach. But just as they were about to leave, the king's guards arrived, having followed Kwezi to the hidden island. The guards captured Kwezi and took him back to the king, where he was imprisoned. Nyinamwuri was left alone on the island once more, but now her heart was shattered beyond repair. She knelt on the shore, her sobs echoing across the empty waters. She wept for days, her tears flowing like a river, filling the valley around her. Her sorrow was so deep, so powerful, that it began to change the land itself. The sky grew dark, and the winds carried her wails to every corner of the valley. Her tears formed a small stream, which grew into a river, and then into a vast, deep lake that submerged the island. Her tears filled the valley so completely that even the tallest trees were swallowed by the rising waters. The people in the nearby villages watched in awe and fear as the waters transformed the landscape, creating a lake where there had once been only land. When the waters finally settled, the island where Nyinamwuri had lived was gone, submerged beneath a new lake. The king, seeing the power of Nyinamwuri's grief, was stricken with guilt. He realized that in his selfish desire to possess her, he had destroyed her happiness and brought misfortune upon the land. He decreed that no one should speak of his actions again, and he retreated into his palace, haunted by the echoes of her sorrow. Kwezi, imprisoned and broken-hearted, never saw Nyinamwuri again. But he lived the rest of his days believing that her spirit still lingered within the waters of the lake. The villagers who lived near the lake often spoke of a gentle mist that would rise from the waters on quiet nights, whispering like a woman's voice. They believed it was Nyinamwuri, watching over the lake she had created with her tears, and so, the lake became known as Lake Bunyonyi, which means place of little birds. Over time, the lake turned into a place of beauty, filled with dozens of islands, lush green hills, and crystal clear waters. The villagers noticed that birds, rare and beautiful, would gather around the lake, singing songs that many believed were echoes of Nyinamwuri's lost love. To this day, travelers who visit Lake Bunyonyi speak of the peaceful, almost magical feeling that hangs in the air. Some say that if you listen closely at sunset, when the waters are calm and the mist rises, you can still hear Nyinamwuri's song, a song of love, loss, and a beauty so deep that it reshaped the world around it, and thus, the legend of Nyinamwuri and the creation of Lake Bunyonyi lives on, a story of love and heartbreak that turned the valley into one of Uganda's most enchanting places.